I am outraged that now young girls and women and birthing people do not have, depending on what state you live in, do not have self-determination.
I believe the right to choose. If they want chocolate versus vanilla ice cream, that's fine. But once that choice violates the rights of another human being, they are in the wrong.
Tonight, a landmark day in the United States. The Supreme Court deciding to overturn Roe v. Wade, ending a half-century of the constitutional right to an abortion.
And that decision has anti-abortion activists celebrating, with those who support abortion rights in mourning and fearful of the future. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The Supreme Court's decision came while ruling on a Mississippi law that bans almost all abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The justices sided with the law 6-3 and also struck down Roe v. Wade 5-4.
The bench's conservative justices called Roe, quote, egregiously wrong and deeply damaging. Chief Justice John Roberts among that group, though he made clear he believed this decision went too far. Now, in a scathing dissent, you see it here, the court's 3 liberal justices said the decision will, quote, curtail women's rights and their status as free and equal citizens. President Biden calling on those horrified by the ruling to vote this November, and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle now say the fight is far from over.
The right to life has been vindicated.
It's a slap in the face to women about using their own judgment.
The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
And tonight, our Northwest politicians are reacting to the news as well. Oregon Governor Kate Brown saying abortion is health care. And no matter who you are or where you come from, Oregon doesn't turn away anyone seeking health care, period. The governor also added that Oregon will work with Washington and California to ensure abortion access. And Senator Jeff Merkley said the decision to have an abortion is one that should be made by you and only you, not by judges.
Oregon Senate Republicans also released a statement that read in part, quote, nearly 50 years ago, the Supreme Court imposed a one-size-fits-all policy on the country that has done nothing but divide the American people. Today, the court returned the abortion debate to the states. And all this means abortion now comes down to the laws in your state. Today's decision is already leading to outright bans. So-called trigger laws are now taking effect in places like Alabama, where abortion is now a felony.
Blair Best joins us from downtown Portland with how this will affect women, especially those in marginalized communities. Blair.
Laurel, David, the message that local abortion rights advocates are trying to get across today is that this decision will have long-term consequences for many women, especially minority women. Now, that's communities of color, LGBTQ+, low-income, young people, rural, tribal communities, many of which already face limitations when it comes to accessing health care. Now, it'll be even harder for them to get their reproductive rights met.
The decision today is oppressive, dangerous, and undemocratic.
Regardless of the Supreme Court's decision, abortion is still legal in Oregon. If you have an appointment, keep it. If you need an appointment, go to abortionfinder.org to find care.
While abortion remains legal here in Oregon, local women will still feel the effects of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, as many local clinics, such as the Lilith Clinic in Southwest Portland, now brace for a surge in out-of-state patients.
We know that the impact of this decision is going to be felt immediately, and what we are doing at the Lilith Clinic is just trying to put our heads down, stay focused on our patients, make sure everyone gets the best care that they can get.
Right now, a quarter of the Lilith Clinic's patients come from out of state, a number that's only going to increase.
I think no matter how much you prepare for a moment like this, it really, you can never really expect it.
They have failed this country. The court is stealing our power to control our own bodies, our lives, and personal medical decisions, and handing that over to politicians.
Ann Doe at Planned Parenthood of Oregon says abortion is health care, and the fight for equal access to that care will continue.
We have been preparing for this moment.
Abortion bans are racist, sexist, and classist, and intentionally designed to control the lives and bodies of people who can become pregnant in this country.
Advocates argue those among the most impacted by this decision are young people.
No one's safe is the thing.
Shayla Sharoma is 23 years old.
I'm someone who would be directly affected if I ever have to look for resources for abortion or really any kind of anything regarding my uterus. I just have no autonomy over anymore. Luckily, we're in Oregon, but like a lot of the other states can't say the same thing, so it's super scary.
But for anti-abortion advocates, today is a victory.
It's an incredible day, and we weren't sure that it would ever happen.
According to polls conducted by the Associated Press, the majority of Americans are in favor of preserving Roe. Only about 1 in 10 Americans want abortion to be illegal in all cases.
I think it's a really hopeful future where we are giving really such value to unborn babies. And I hope that I know that for us in the pro-life movement in Oregon, that we're committed to helping mothers during their pregnancy and after their pregnancy, that we can stop having a conflict over abortion.
But this is far from over. Generations before us have fought tirelessly to gain and protect the rights we have today. We will not back down. We will not stop fighting.
Now, for many people, the road ahead won't be easy. The Biden administration today warning that this decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, it could impact other high court decisions, including gay rights, even contraception. Now, local abortion right advocates are asking for donations so they can increase access to abortion right here in Oregon. There's also many gatherings and protests happening this weekend. One is starting right about now here in Pioneer Square. David, Laurel.
And we'll be keeping an eye on that over the next few hours. Thank you, Blair. As we mentioned, here on the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and California are joining to create what they call a firewall to protect reproductive rights. Christine Pitawanich joins us now with a look at where abortion laws stand in our region. Christine.
Yeah, David, I spoke with an Oregon state health official as well as a reproductive rights lawyer, both who say despite this big ruling at the national level, the highest court in the land, it won't change too much in Oregon and Washington. In fact, they tell me that abortion is protected in both states under law. In Oregon, abortion access is protected under the Reproductive Health Equity Act that was established in 2017, and it expanded access for people to get abortions and for healthcare providers to perform abortions. It also allows for abortion services regardless of immigration status or insurance barriers. But not all states have those protections, like Idaho. Advocates anticipate people will come to Oregon to get an abortion.
We are expecting an estimated 235% increase in people traveling to the state. We also know.
Now, there are concerns that that may put a strain on the healthcare system here in Oregon, and there are also fears that providers may face potential litigation if they do provide abortions to people from out of state. Of course, that is yet to be seen, but what is clear is that people who live in Oregon and Washington still have access to abortions. Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.
And stay with KGW and NBC for continuing coverage of the landmark decision. Nightly News at 5:30 looks at the next steps for Congress as well as people crossing state lines. Of course, the latest updates are always available at kgw.com.
In other national news, the first significant gun legislation in the U.S. in 3 decades now awaits President Joe Biden's signature. The House passed the bill this morning after the Senate approved it last night. It provides grants to states for red flag laws, enhances background checks to include juvenile records, and closes the so-called boyfriend loophole. That means keeping guns away from dating partners convicted of abuse. The president is expected to sign it.
All right, let's give you a live look outside on this Friday afternoon. Yes, we made it to Friday, 83 degrees in downtown Portland and warming up as we head toward the weekend with a heat advisory about to set in. Let's bring in meteorologist Chris McGinnis. Chris, it sounds like we're going to be flirting with triple digits here.
Yeah, in fact, in recent runs of our computer models, they're getting closer and closer to the century mark for Sunday here in Portland. And I'll show you that in just a minute. But as to David's point, yes, we are under a heat advisory this weekend. Let's get to the weather maps here. Everywhere shaded in that peach-orange shading here across western Oregon and Washington, and in fact, south central Oregon under a heat advisory for the Portland metro area. That actually runs from noon Saturday through 10 p.m. Sunday. So this is going to be a 3-day shot of some very, very hot weather. And it starts tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a sunny and breezy day. East winds are really going to kick up tomorrow We could see some wind gusts around 30 miles an hour in the Portland metro area. So I like to call that hair dryer in the face weather. You turn your face to the east and wham, there it goes. 92 tomorrow. 99 degrees on Sunday. As I mentioned, some models do, or at least some runs of models go just a smidge higher than that. We'll hold it at 99, but that's splitting hairs. You get the idea. That's pretty hot, obviously. The record high for Sunday, by the way, you ready for this? It was 108 last year. So happy that we're not talking about that kind of heat. Your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Chris. And with that dangerous heat forecast for this weekend, Chris was talking about cooling spaces are opening throughout the Portland metro region, but not overnight shelters. Our Bryant Clerkley joins us in Portland with more on this. Bryant?
Hey, Laurel, so libraries here in Multnomah County will be open until 8 p.m. for people that need to escape the heat. And those are extended hours. But here in Multnomah County, they're not opening overnight shelters. And that's because temperatures are expected to cool in the overnight hours.
Our approach right now is to make sure people know where the public spaces are, where they can cool off during the hottest hours on Sunday. And then assuming that the overnight temperatures are going to give us all a break.
With the summer heat wave coming this weekend, Multnomah County has decided to extend library hours so people can have cool places to go. The city of Beaverton is doing the same thing. Mayor Lacey Beatty wants anyone who needs to cool off during the day to head to their local library.
As a matter of fact, last year, Beaverton was the first in the county to open up an overnight shelter. So we're going to be watching and paying attention and adjusting based on the forecast that's coming to us. And if it does get too hot, we will look at all of our resources on opening an overnight shelter.
Over in Clark County, Washington, health officials are also encouraging people to visit local libraries if they need to cool down. In Clackamas County, places like the Happy Valley Library and Milwaukee Center will be open for people to cool off. Some Portland residents without AC say it would be nice to have a place to go overnight.
If it's going to be 90s, it'll probably be at least 100 or better in my apartment. I'm on the south side, so the sun's in my window more than normal.
And the Beaverton Community Center just announced that it will be open for adults that need somewhere to sleep overnight for Saturday and Sunday from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Central, Holgate, and Gresham libraries here in Multnomah County will stay open until 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and people can call 211 if they need transportation help. David, Laurel?
Things changing minute to minute as we continue to watch that forecast. Thank you, Brian.